G'day Ben. I missed a few things in the last little clip, that 13-minute clip. So I've got the guitar strung up now and I can show you. First of all, I'll just play a little bit so you can hear it with the mute off. Okay, that's the mute off, and that's D to D. Now, to put the mute on, it's really simple, so I'll show you. What you do is you just put the Allen key in the back and you turn it counterclockwise, and you'll hear it go dead. Now what that actually does is it puts an upward force onto the soundboard, so the soundboard fractionally raises and you can actually hear it go dead, and then of course because it fractionally raises, you can hear the tuning go up a bit, so that's sort of telling you when the mute's on, and so suddenly it's a lot quieter. It's more like your typical jazz guitar, which is much less likely to feed back. But the other thing is, as I was explaining before, now any force that goes slamming into there, for instance, if it's in the box that I'm sending it to you in, that force will just go straight through to the bottom and damage whatever's underneath the box, and it's not likely to damage this instrument at all. And because that's the highest point, that also means that that's the most likely spot to be hit. Okay, next thing, what we have here is this little capo. That's it, and all it does is it screws onto the second fret. So as I said before, there's a little Allen key that's in there that you screw out and you drop it on, and you'll see that that's got a little black dot on the bottom. It's probably best that goes on the high frequency end. You can see the black dots on the high frequency end, and it slides reasonably well underneath this, and you can adjust the force downwards on it until there's no buzzes. It's a bit like normal capos in that respect, except there's nothing underneath it, so it won't annoy you with nothing there. Now the Allen key, which does that, I'll send that to you with it. That Allen key also does the humbucker heights. There's little screws on this humbucker, and it's an Almuse humbucker from this fellow in England. It's not the prettiest looking humbucker, but by golly, I love the sound they make, and it's not overly wound, and it's also compensated for brass wound strings. The magnets are compensated for that, which is why I'm hoping that you will put these strings on first, the elixirs, because if you keep the packet and all the little packets inside with each single string, when you take these elixir strings off it, you're about to put them back in the packet, and you can take them on and off, half a dozen times once you learn how to do it on the headstock. So as I mentioned before, when you put the strings on, you go these two, then those two, and those two, and when they're coming off, you go the opposite direction, coming down. And of course, I'm sure you know that you try to tune up an instrument in a balanced way. You don't just tune it one side and not the other. But okay, now the other thing, it occurred to me that you may want slightly heavier strings. So what I've done is I've also sent you these. You can try them if you like. They're a brand new set of flat tops, Jazz Labella. They're 13 to 53. They're heavier. And the bridge will be intonated well for that. The other thing that crossed my mind that you might be interested in doing, it's only if you want to, I mean you're on holidays, it's about having fun of course, but these are a light gauge set of strings. They're 10 to 46, and if for some reason you wanted to tune it E to E, with these, with the long scale, I'm sure you could get that comfortably. Which might be an interesting thing to do, I don't know. The thing is, the G string then is going to be, in this set, is going to be a plain steel, which means the intonation's out. So what I've done is I've packed a wound string, a lightest gauge wound string that I can into this packet. With regards to this tailpiece here, this tailpiece takes ball or loop. But the balls have got to have holes in them, and occasionally you get a ball without a hole in it, which means you need a little pair of pliers to snip the ball out of it so it becomes a loop. That's a pain in the bum, I guess. But not many strings now have just a solid ball. They've all got little holes, which means it's great for this tailpiece. And the way this tailpiece works is that there's a little high tensile rod, and when the ball goes over it, as soon as the string tension goes on, it cannot come off because it's slightly compensated back. So the string actually has to get longer to come out. So as soon as the string is loose, it's about as quick as your dobro tailpiece. In fact, I reckon it's quicker in some respects. So it's a fast action change. If you want to change the entire set of strings and you take one entire set off, remember, this is really important, this bit, that what you do is you loosen the strings off a bit and then screw this all the way in, which means the neck can't fall off. Not that it's likely to, but it means that this screw remains engaged in the locator that's on the neck, because, as I said before, the only thing that's locating that locator permanently is the force of the strings. So, yeah, I think that's probably about it. I'll send this to you with a set of string snips in case you haven't travelled with them. I assume you've got your own plectrums or whatever you use, and tuners. And I hope you have a lot of fun with this instrument. It's as I said before, I've had a lot of fun making it, and it's been a joy to get it to where I've got it. Okay, thank you.